let's go to the LA fires. That's what everybody is talking about. It's also funny, a lot of people claiming climate change on that. It's like, it's interesting because it's like they've never heard of arson. Never heard of HARP. So let's give Omnivore... I'm going to give the goof a 5-minute timeout, and then if he wants to come back and engage in a different subject while not humiliating himself, then that will be fine. Okay. So, everybody is here. I think everybody wants to go over the fires. Lord Zed says, I watched Van Damme in the order with my parents the other day. All right. Okay. So, yeah, let's see what Alex Jones has to say about the fires.
Sky unable to fly due to a temporary flight restriction put in place because President Biden is in town. But this is an incredible view of what it looks like from above.
And they've been talking about this flight control since yesterday afternoon. And here we are the next day. There's the flight restriction map on screen for TV viewers. And it's funny to them. And you're like, well, they're just idiots. No, they're not.
Flying right over that thing. Wow. The whole entire hills are on fire. Holy shit. Oh my God.
TV viewer, these are images shot in the morning hours as a plane came into Los Angeles. Large areas of the city on fire.
KTLA photographer Paul Sanchez, as he's giving us an aerial perspective to the devastation in the Palisades. Sky 5 unable to fly due to a temporary flight restriction put in place because President Biden is in town. But this is an incredible view of what it looks like from above.
Yeah, we will have more in terms of an aerial perspective, we believe, tomorrow once the sun comes up and we begin to get a good measure of the level of devastation here. But if you've been watching the coverage, you can deduce, frankly, dozens and dozens and dozens of homes in the Palisades area have been lost. The Palisades Village under siege tonight. Homes along PCH, along the beach, gone as well. One of two communities under siege tonight. Altadena struggling as well, as we saw moments ago. Entire neighborhoods burning, rows and rows of homes from a fire that has spread out of Eaton Canyon into the neighborhoods of Altadena.
So if you're a TV viewer, you can see what I'm showing from C-SPAN just an hour or so ago. Biden is in California, the zombie, the Crypt Keeper, and he's sitting there with Air Force One, all the rest of the aircraft that follow him around, a bunch of presidential Ospreys, you name it. And he's just sitting there today, and they're impeding any of the emergency air traffic aircraft, that's on the news, still, from going in and fighting the fires while the airplane sits there. Every administrative thing they can do, like Nero reportedly sat and watched Rome burn after he started the fires because he wanted to expand his palace. That's on record in the Roman histories. Is being done now, but commercial flights are allowed to fly. So the news had to get up and take flights to other cities because their emergency choppers, everything is not allowed to be in the air because his lordship is there. If Trump was there, obviously the president, he would have instantly lifted the flight ban, but Biden doesn't give a crap. And they've been talking about this flight control since yesterday afternoon. And here we are the next day, There's the flight restriction map on screen for TV viewers. And it's funny to them. And you're like, well, they're just idiots. No, they're not. Pulled the insurance for most people in the area 2 months ago. Won't release the water from the reservoirs for decades and still doing it. Everybody freaking out. No water for the firefighters. The fire hydrants went dry yesterday. On and on and on. Hospitals being evacuated everywhere. People dying. People burning up in their homes. Firefighters aren't really seen anywhere. Got their new DEI. I'm a lesbian. My main job is getting lesbians in here and women. They know exactly what they're doing. And folks on X were saying, weird enough that Biden shows up to LA on another plane besides Air Force One to dedicate a couple of monuments in Riverside. But he also has VIP NOTAMs in place, impeding water tanker planes in certain areas. Things that make you go, We are running massive flash sales right now for just the next 4 days at the AlexJonesStore.com. On Wednesday, the big sweepstakes on the amazing off-road Ford Trimmer.
I mean, that's looking pretty post-apocalyptic, is it not? I mean, this is crazy stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, this is pretty crazy. This is pretty crazy. I actually lived in LA for a while. I don't remember anything even remotely like that. I actually don't remember any fires in the immediate LA area while I was there. It was always up somewhere in the wooded, more wooded areas, not super close to the city. Let me bring up another video here, which is also pretty crazy. I mean, it just looks like an absolute post-apocalyptic hellscape. I mean, look at this. I mean, this looks like an absolute post-apocalyptic hellscape. I mean, this is Los Angeles? I mean, this is right out of a post-apocalyptic movie. I mean, look at this. Yeah, Alex Jones does look way different. We'll get back to Alex Jones in a moment. I have another clip. We have to watch on he has kind of a meltdown regarding Elon Musk. We have to watch that. But look at this. I mean, this looks like a post-apocalyptic film in LA. I mean, look at this. I mean, everything, something just laid waste to a large portion of Los Angeles. And obviously this looks like the Lahaina fires. Is this direct energy weapons? Again, I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue like the brain dead goofs, but I mean, it's just curious how you have that kind of building right next to another building. Same thing in Lahaina. I mean, look at these charred out cars. I mean, this is just weird. I mean, there's fires that go to residential neighborhoods. They look nothing like this. Then you have complete ruins right next to untouched houses. I mean, this is kind of crazy. You have complete ruins next to an untouched building. I mean, if this really was like a fast-spreading fire, I mean, that tree isn't even affected. Is that a bush behind those ruins completely unaffected? What is that? Let's see here. I mean, that reminds me of the Lahaina fire where you had there was even a building with not a single charred blade of grass right next to complete charred ruins. Complete burned out husks of cars that were solid steel. I mean, it's crazy. Like engine blocks melted down. I mean, now I'm not alleging that this is the same thing here as in Lahaina. I'm not even alleging what it is. It's just weird how this has never happened in modern history before. And goofs are saying climate change, oh no, the temperature, the adjusted temperature went up 1,000th of a degree. That means there's going to be mass fires, melting down engine blocks. I mean, just the level of goofery from the authority-worshipping cultists that just buy whatever the climate grifters say. Because back in the 70s, it was like global cooling. It was supposed to be an ice age. Now, all of a sudden, it's supposed to be heating up. So, yeah, I mean, it's just so curious in a lot of this footage. Because if this really is some kind of just absolutely incredible fire, and then you have complete bushes and trees here, they don't even look singed, right next to absolute ruins. I mean, look, this is like steel beams getting burned through here, and then you have untouched bushes. Untouched bushes right next to it. What does everybody make of this? What does everybody make of this? Christopher Allen says the blue umbrellas at Lahaina are not touched. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Supposedly, if these are direct energy weapons, there's some kind of frequencies, for whatever reason, they didn't target the blue spectrum. But, yeah, it's definitely weird. Yeah, Truth Trillette says trees standing with leaves still on them, yeah. Like, you have complete charred ruins next to completely unburned trees and bushes. I mean, this is crazy. Like, what is this? I mean, this is absolute craziness. So again, I do not claim anything is true or untrue. The motto of the podcast here, of course, is the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. So, yeah, I mean, what does everybody think? Let's do a poll. So let's see who in the chat thinks that this was some kind of energy weapon. I mean, this does not look like any natural fire I've ever seen. Truth Trillette says, looks like the steel beams have had the molecular structure reconfigured to bend like that. I mean, who knows what kind of what kind of temperature is required? And how could there be there's not even a singe on the wall next to, in the building next to it. Like, not even a little charred spot. Completely untouched bush and tree. I mean, it's just so weird. It's just so weird. I've never seen any kind of natural fires behaving like this. Like, completely melting down entire buildings and steel while leaving other buildings not even a small singe. If this was some kind of high wind pushing fire, you would think there would be at least some, like, black charred singe on walls. I mean, look at this untouched wall next to a completely melted down building. I mean, this is crazy. Like, it's spotless. Like, look at this building. The wall is completely spotless. Not even one little black singe. Not even, like, carried over black char or anything. This is crazy. I mean, look at this on the street, and yet this building, look at it, the front of the building, the side of the building, completely uncharred in any way, not even debris blown on it. So what could cause this? If it was some kind of advanced weapon that operates extremely quickly, that could explain it, because then nothing would be carried. It would just vaporize whatever it was, whatever the target was. Big Pine Sailing says they must have been made of passport paper. Oh man, they should just make all buildings. Oh, for people that don't know the reference, let me bring that up on the screen. It's a shame those other goofs aren't in here, because a lot of these anti-flat earth grifters, I mean, they're just authority-worshipping cultist bootleggers. They probably believe the official 9/11 narrative in violation of all the laws of physics. It's pretty curious. Yeah, let's look at this here. So at 9/11 here, so there's no turbine engines or indestructible flight recorders, but unscathed hijacker passports. I mean, look at that indestructible passport paper. Is this building here made of passport paper? And then the other building with the steel beams, they didn't use the passport paper? Is that what happened here? Is that what happened? So far in the chat, 58% say yes, some kind of an energy weapon. 0% say no, 42% too triggered to answer. Very understandable, too triggered to answer. Justin Johnson says, this is how you know it's real. No doubt. No doubt. Obviously, no issues with the official narrative here. And I'm sure there won't be any issues with the official narrative of the LA fires, just like there's no issues with the official narrative at Lahaina. I mean, we can always trust the official narrative on the idiot box, right? I mean, why wouldn't you trust the official narrative? It's not like, it's not like the government would ever lie to you about anything. Big Pine Stanley says, when they do controlled burns here in the refuge, that plot of land is all charred up. Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen even small fires in the woods. I mean, there's a certain area of singe. It's not like magically charred and destroyed completely right next to untouched, pristine trees. It's kind of weird. AC says, I wonder why they are burning down their puppet's mansion. So, obviously, the conspiracy theories have started flooding in. Is this P. Diddy related, and there's evidence, some kind of evidence, and then they wanted to take out a certain number of houses, and there's a lot of collateral damage to cover all that up? I don't know. I'm not claiming it's true or untrue. I mean, I don't know if, it seems like they probably wouldn't do it that way, but who knows? Just Reporting says, some, not all of the structures look more like something that was toppled. Strange. If it was some kind of direct energy weapon, if it didn't direct hit some of the buildings, but it partially hit, and then the structural integrity was completely compromised, maybe that's why it looks like that. Truth Trollette says, perhaps they crossed them in some way or were offered better, perhaps. Justin Johnson says, a bunch of children went missing. You mean in LA or in Lahaina? Lahaina's so sketchy. I mean, there's still not a lot of details of what happened, right? I think there was one documentary, like a short documentary, but it's kind of almost been memory holds, kind of like the Las Vegas incident, right? I mean, everybody talks about all these other incidents, but for whatever reason, the Las Vegas one was memory hold, and Lahaina was memory hold. It's very curious which events are memory hold and which aren't. Truth Trollette says, smart cities to be put in. Ben holding to Ramparts Long Science MTLQC says, maybe internal strife or restructuring. Rune Sticker says, maybe God is just doing a cleanup. I mean, it does look like Armageddon and end times, doesn't it? Sodom and Gomorrah, obviously the city of fallen angels. I mean, this kind of matches Sodom and Gomorrah, doesn't it? You know what else is weird? Like some of these random trees that are completely untouched. I mean, look at these completely obliterated buildings. And then you have untouched, completely untouched trees. I mean, look at this burned out car. Look at this bush right here. Completely untouched bush and trees next to a completely destroyed house and completely charred out car. I mean, it's crazy. This is really crazy stuff here. I mean, just absolutely crazy stuff. I mean, how are the trees surviving? If it's that high temperature and that severe of a fire to completely destroy homes, how are these trees, like, look at the leaves, like, completely unaffected? I don't know, none of this makes any sense. None of this really makes any sense. I don't know. Flat Bob says, I think we are looking at just one small part of a bigger narrative to put this country 6 feet under. I, for one, am sick of all the BS and propaganda and terrorism. Flat Bob also says, I feel like a war is coming, been saying it for years, but it's closer than ever. Great tribulation, maybe. Well, Alex Jones has been predicting a civil war for quite some time. Okay, let's look at this other Alex Jones clip. This is his meltdown. I mean, that's just scary looking. This is his meltdown on Musk, and then we'll examine this and see what everybody thinks about it.
What the hell? What the hell? And he's exposing Jeffrey Epstein and the CIA. Hell, last week he put out tweets about the CIA at war with America. God almighty. Jones sold out retweeting that. God, I apologize to all of you. I'm sorry. I sold out. I tried to stop the pedophile rings, the giant Muslim kidnapping rings. I'm sorry. I kissed Elon Musk's ass. We're so close to getting the globalists. I want their throat. I want victory. And now you can see it. And you guys think you're going to harass Elon Musk and push him off of supporting Trump and divide Trump and Elon? You're not. We have already beaten your ass. Oh, let's continue. What? Muslim kidnapping rings. I'm sorry. I kissed Elon Musk's ass.
What a thespian. What a thespian. What a fantastic actor. He can go from crying to laughing. Has anybody ever gone from crying to laughing that fast? I mean, Alex Jones is setting records. He's setting records here. Setting absolute records. So basically, he got a lot of, I guess, unfavorable comments regarding him kind of shilling for Elon, I guess. And he responded this way. Now, again, I mean, this is really curious, too. Like, the Elon Musk enigma, heralded as some kind of high IQ genius. I mean, the guy bought his way into everything. I mean, just stealing other people's ideas, and then he never actually comes through on anything. I mean, I'm actually surprised the Cybertruck actually came out. But when it did, now it has a lot of problems, but whatever. And again, that's not even really his company. He bought into it. He bought everything, like Twitter or whatever. Call of the Womb says, looks like Joe Rogan right there. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Alex Jones does look a little different. He lost a lot of weight. His face does look a bit different, but I don't know. Flat Bob says, real talk though, Alex Jones is a phenomenal actor. Yeah, I mentioned this before. If Hollywood was legit and not a cesspool of degenerate filth, you would have real art and real acting. I mean, Alex Jones would be, I mean, this guy would be in the pantheon of greats, no doubt, if not at the very top. I mean, who's a better actor? I mean, I know Seagal is good, but he doesn't have the range. I mean, I know it's blasphemy, but at least he hasn't demonstrated the range that Alex Jones has. Flat Bob says it'll be a multifaceted war, a war on the mind, a war of the soul, a war of tech, a war for information. So what does everybody think of Alex Jones kind of shilling for Musk? Would the old Alex Jones be a fan of Elon Musk or even Donald Trump for that matter? Or would he be warning about any authority figures or presidential figures? I don't ever remember him shilling for any president. Now, during Trump's first run, obviously, Trump's a non-politician, so, and he was possibly non-establishment, whether he's in the club or not, who knows, but he wasn't a politician like all the other guys. So you could say it kind of sort of made sense for his first run. Now, him partnering with Musk, this technocrat, I mean, it's a little weird. It definitely is weird. I kind of want to know what the old Alex Jones would have thought of Elon Musk. For some reason, I think he would be issuing warnings. You know, don't be deceived, Trojan horses, etc., brain microchips. Like, Alex Jones was against all of this chipping. Like, what does it... It really does seem like he's kind of shilling for Musk. Tara Jackson says, 20 years ago, I listened to Alex Jones on the radio in Kansas. I could barely get it in most of the time, but mostly I remembered him talking about Clinton preparing for the end. Yeah, I mean, he was one of the first to expose the Clintons as well. The Clinton crime family. But if you look at the slide that's happened in 20 years. I mean, Alex Jones is pretty on point about most of it. Runes Ticker says, it feels like all the main truthers have been compromised, including the flat earthers. Well, some people think Jones was always compromised. I mean, Jones is a real enigma. I mean, was this guy a shill? I brought forth the theory that he was a shill, and then he kind of had a conscience about it and was kind of winking and blowing the whistle where he could, even though he was compromised because he wants to be a real patriot. But I mean, that was one of my theories for the past few years. Now I'm not so sure. I mean, not that that didn't happen. Maybe that did happen, and he did flip the script on his masters and controllers to a certain extent that he could. And yeah, now I don't know. Like, why is he bootlicking Musk? It really doesn't make any sense. Because even if he thinks Musk is good, wouldn't the old Jones have advocated for a cautionary approach, right? Like, it seems like he might be doing good things, but let's stay vigilant, eyes open, etc., etc. It seems like the old Jones would have taken that position. Matari Sensei says, one of my friend's takes was that he's in a tight position, so he's staying in Elon's graces because he could potentially help him out. Well, that's true, because Elon Musk actually blocked the InfoWars sale to a degree. You guys know about that, Russ, right? And it's also kind of weird because Musk didn't even want Jones back on Twitter after the Connecticut incident. And then apparently he changed his mind. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, Elon Musk. So this is and again, it's not just InfoWars though. So apparently he blocked the sale to the Onion. And I don't understand all of the details here because obviously I'll bring up the screenshot in a second for reference here. Always got the receipts here on MINDSHOCK. For the people that are new, you guys missed these scientism bootlickers get absolutely eviscerated. Oh man, that was like the first half hour. Pretty funny. I'll do a clip of it and upload it. I mean, some of these goofs were spiraling on Twitter for hours. Alright, so here is this was back, was it end of November, beginning of December. Elon Musk actually stepped in to block or at least the X account. So Musk flexes muscle to stop InfoWars X account sale to the Onion. So again, I don't know what this has to do with Infowars.com or the rest of the sale, but apparently Musk did flex and said at least he's not handing over the X account. And nothing has been handed over. It's kind of been kicked up to a whatever court because apparently there was a lot of funny business in the sale in the first place. And I don't even know what's going on. I think Jones filed a countersuit against the Sandy Hook parents as well. Obviously, all this stuff takes years and years to resolve. I don't think he's paid a single penny to any of them. And then this sale, the InfoWars sale, got blocked, so who knows what's even happening. But apparently, yeah, Musk stepped in, so this is kind of weird, because apparently Musk didn't like Jones. And then Musk steps in to block the InfoWars sale, so now is that why Jones is shilling for Musk? I mean, this is just weird. Big Pine Sailing says, I haven't paid any attention to Jones, but hitting him with that lawsuit is total psyop. Kill the Bank says, so how about that? Alex Jones warned us 15 years ago, now he's all for it, it seems. Well, I don't think he said he's for the microchip. It's just weird how he's for Musk, who is for microchips. Okay. So yeah. I mean, I really don't know, but I think yeah. I just have a hard time believing that the old Jones would toe the line for any kind of mainstream figure like this, like Musk. And Jones does his research. He must know that Musk bought his way into everything and he's not like an actual genius at anything. So it seems like the old Jones would have called that out and said, remain cautious, make sure it's not a Trojan horse, etc., etc. Same thing for Trump, actually. All right, so who's ready? So does anybody have any other Q&As? Because I do have a very, very special clip here to round out this Q&A. We got the ball rolling. We got the ball rolling in the Tim Pool Flat Earth Culture War podcast, but we're going to finish it here. Madari Sensa says, did you play the Tim Allen sounds? That's what it is. We are going to... I'm Iron's Cat says, Joe Rogan prediction for the fires. What do you mean prediction? You know what's weird? All the people just obsessing over the so-called final experiment, which isn't even scientific. I mean, whatever happened, I mean, how does that affect the shape of the Earth? Again, if it's some kind of planetarium, whatever's going on in the sky doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the surface you're standing on, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, let's try to focus here. Joe Rogan 2240 at 410. Okay, I Am Iron's Cat has a request here. Let me double check this and then we'll get to our finale, our Tim Allen finale. It's a very special clip, actually 2 clips. Okay, so apparently Roger Avery and Quentin Tarantino predicted a program for that. Yeah, I can't stand Tarantino. I mean, that guy's the definition of a Hollywood hack. I mean, even Elon Musk isn't as much of a hack as Tarantino. What a scumbag. You just get scumbag vibes from Tarantino. I mean, I don't understand how anybody could stomach that individual or be a fan of him, but that's just me. I guess that's just me. Gross. It's gross. Especially healthcare insurance. Fucking gross. Well, actually, all insurance. I live in California, and all of a sudden. All right, I got the clip. Just give me a second. Put it on the screen. So apparently there's an insurance conspiracy as well. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen this. Like I said, I can't stomach Tarantino, but this is a live Q&A. And I try to address every single question here. So let's see here. I mean, I don't know if... Well, let's see. Let's see what they say.
Well, actually, all insurance. I live in California. all insurance. I live in California, and all of a sudden, because I live adjacent to any kind of open space, like nobody will insure my house because of fire.
Right.
And so suddenly it's like I have a house that's uninsurable, and it's not just me, it's everybody. And so it's chaos.
Yeah, I have a
Chaos.
friend who's trying to sell a house in California, and it turned out it was $125,000 a year just to get fire insurance.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it's insane.
It's fucking nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah, but, I was evacuated 3 times when I lived there. I used to live in Bell Canyon, and, it was it was rough.
I've been really lucky. I'm almost afraid to say it, all right, because I've been living in the Hollywood Hills, and I've never, any of the fire stuff never happened around me.
It is just luck. Yeah.
I mean, the benefit of your place is you're at least in a helicopter accessible.
Well, that is
they're
true.
just going to dump all that fire retardant right on top of you.
I literally am kind of at the top of the hill on a bunch of rock.
Yeah.
All right, so if the whole fucking
that's
place
nice.
it turns into an inferno, I'm still fucked.
And that
Is it just me, or does this guy look, talk, and walk like some kind of crack fiend? I mean, look at him. I mean, this guy's as degenerate as you can get. I mean, look at this degenerate. I mean, he looks like a crack fiend. He talks like a crack fiend. I mean, everything about him screams crack fiend. But yeah, I mean, it's a little curious that they're talking about that. He also said that he's never been evacuated. There's never been a severe issue in his particular area. I mean, is that a coincidence? I don't know.
that place has probably been there a while.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
withstood all sorts of calamity.
Yeah, when I was filming Fear Factor, I talked to this guy who was a fire guy for the fire department. He said, it's just going to be a matter of time. There's going to be one day where a fire hits L.A., and the wind is the right way, and we're not going to be able to stop it. It's just going to burn right through to the ocean. He goes, it's just a matter of time. We all know it. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I go, the whole city? He goes, the whole city. He goes, when those big fires get going, there's not a damn thing. Like what happened in Malibu a few years back? Like those are, I always thought Malibu, those rich people.
Well,
they
that
gotta
was the
protect them.
closest. Yeah,
Maui.
that was
Maui's
like around
insane.
'93. That actually happened while we were shooting Pulp Fiction.
Really?
Yeah, well, there was a big
Malibu
Malibu
fire,
fire. The big
yeah.
Malibu fire happened while we were shooting Pulp Fiction. So we actually set up a TV on the set because Bruce Willis was going to maybe lose his house, and so he was like actually.
I haven't seen anything with Tarantino in a while. Like he's visibly shaking here. I mean, does he have a medical issue? I mean, how much drugs did this guy do? It looks like he can't even function properly. I mean, he's shaking and stuttering. I mean, this is crazy. Imon's cat says this was 3 weeks ago, the Tarantino podcast. Big Pine Sailing says, dude has so much money. Think of the biscuits that dude cooking. Runes Ticker says they have access to the purest Coke. I think it might be a lot more than Coke. I mean, this guy just does not seem to be able to function. Flap Up says, how many drugs did he do? All of them. I mean, back in the day when he was younger, at least he could kind of talk semi-normally. But, I mean, he looks completely mentally gone here.
So we have this little TV area, so we could so in between takes we can watch what's going on with the fire. And they're like, and there was all these reports that no, Bruce Willis and his family are on top of the house with their water hose. I go, no, he's not. He's right here.
Well, the thing is, fires were normal. Like it used to be when I was young. I grew up in California, and so when I was young, fires would burn through Malibu constantly. But now they put all those houses in there where there never were houses, because the fire is a natural process. It kind of clears the land, cleans the land, and it's normal actually. But when you put all that kindling in there, suddenly we end up with these like superstorms of fire, just where everything's just going crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's overdevelopment, which is the cause of these insane kind of fires that we're getting.
Yeah, but it's a cool place to live.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop people from developing in Malibu.
Rogan is such a goof. Like his goofery, like I always find his goofery amusing. I mean, I mean, look at that. You can tell there's just not much going on upstairs. Yeah, that's funny. Austin Johnson says adrenochrome, perhaps. Oh, man. What a rabbit hole. Hi, Mayans Cat says he talks like a meth addict. He sure does. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird because the fires of the past, again, other than Lahaina and this new LA fire, I don't remember there being complete decimation of steel buildings right next to completely unsinged bushes and unscathed walls in any way. I mean, it's just weird.
You know, it's just too nice.
No, you're not.
You just
gonna
take your chances, roll your dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but you roll your dice. You take your chances and you roll your dice no matter where you live.
Yeah, it's just fucked up when it happens. Like,
Oh my God, yeah.
I drove home once. We were filming Fear Factor. We had to stop the set early because the fire was so bad. This was like 2003 or something like 4, and driving home, it took me 55 minutes on the 5 to get home, and the entire time the right side of the highway was on fire for 55 minutes. Everything like Lord of the Rings style.
So 3 different times you got evacuated from your house?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
3 different times.
And so what is like? Okay, so you decide what you're going to take with you, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
the last time was the last time. It was like, the last big fire in L.A. And I came home from the Comedy Store at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and my wife and I are looking out the window, and the fire's like maybe 500 or 600 yards away, and it's coming over the hill. And we were looking at each other. I said, "Let's just get the fuck out of here." before
Yeah,
it gets
right
bad.
on.
Let's just get out of here now. So we grabbed the kids, got a laptop, took some clothes. I didn't even have underwear. I said we could just buy stuff. Who gives a
Yeah.
fuck?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
cares?
If you have your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see anything here that's that damning. I mean, it is curious that they're talking about it a couple weeks later. Worst LA fire ever. I mean, it is kind of weird. In the chat here, Rune's Ticker says, looking at videos of the wreckage in LA, looks like the photos of the aftermath of the alleged fires throughout America in the 1800s. That's a good point. John Levi and some of these Tartaria mudflood researchers, some of these old photos also show the same thing. Like there's completely untouched buildings just spread out and then completely destroyed everything next to it. It is kind of weird. Who knows how long energy weapons have been used throughout history. I mean, even in the ancient Hindu texts, they talk about, Vimanas and all these cosmic weapons with mass destruction, etc. So, all right. I mean, if there's no other questions here, we're going to round this out